Hey, what's up guys, it is King Alfie here, and welcome back everyone to a brand new video here on the channel today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly about the Modern Warfare 2 beta. Now obviously, it's been out for over a day now, and tomorrow it's opening up to the public for people who didn't pre-order on PlayStation, so a lot more people are going to get to play it for themselves, get hands-on with the game, and experience it for the first time. And I've got to say, I've played it since it released pretty much non-stop, and I've got to say, overall, I absolutely love the game. It's so much fun. I'm really looking forward to this year of Call of Duty. I mean, whether you like Cold War, Modern Warfare 2019, or Vanguard, or you don't like them, whatever, we can all agree that the last 2 years of Call of Duty have not been what they used to be, okay? They haven't been the best. And with this game, I feel like that's finally turning around. I think we're finally getting a game that's good, that we can all enjoy, and with there being so many different ways to play this game, so many different game modes, and just so much new stuff, I feel like this is going to be the best Call of Duty we've seen in years. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. But just like anything ever in the world, it's gonna have cons, okay? Nothing in this world is perfect. There's going to be some cons to it. So today we're going to be going over my honest opinions over the game after playing it. And I have raged a little bit. I've been tilted at moments. So we're going to be talking about kind of what caused me to get to that point and kind of going over everything. Now, obviously, guys, drop comments down below. Let me know your guys' opinion on the situation. Let me know what do you guys like, what do you guys not like, and if you guys disagree with some of the points that I'm making in today's video. Alright guys, so enough chit chat, let's get into it. It's going to take us a little while here. Let's start with the pros. Number one, the leveling up system. I absolutely love the leveling up system. It's fan-freaking-tastic. Whether you're leveling up your character or you're leveling up your weapons to get new attachments, is absolutely phenomenal. As of right now, here inside of the beta, I think like the max level weapon there is like 22 or something like that. So essentially, if you guys don't know, I have a whole video explaining the whole new family tree on weapons and stuff. But essentially, you take the base M4, you level it up, you unlock attachments, and at a certain level, you will unlock a brand new receiver, and that receiver basically is another weapon. So if you take the base M4, get it to level 13, you'll unlock a new receiver, which unlocks a brand new DMR for you. And those attachments that you unlocked on the M4 will carry over to that DMR because it's still in the M4 family. It's kind of how it works, and it's just so easy. You can literally max out a gun in 2 to 3 games maximum. Like, it's just so easy to level up your character. It's so easy to level up your guns, unlock new attachments, and it's absolutely fantastic. I think it's the best leveling up system we've ever had. I almost can argue that it's too good. Like, you level up so fast, it's almost like there's no grind anymore. So I don't know, but yeah, for sure, leveling system is a huge plus. Moving on to the next thing, we have the gunplay. The gunplay feels fantastic. I'm probably going to use that word a lot today, so prepare yourselves. But it legit feels fantastic. It is so good. It feels nice and smooth and fluid. It feels realistic. The guns look amazing. They all sound amazing. There's a lot of visual recoil, and I know that was kind of scary to a lot of people. And after playing the game for a lot now, I say there's definitely ways you can minimize that. But definitely, I would say some guns, I feel like, should have their recoil, whether it be visual or actual recoil, turned down a little bit. Especially for like playing more large-scale battles. You know, when you're going to be using like longer range. Like anything close range, it's fine. But as soon as you start getting even like to your medium to your longer ranges, it's really hard to use certain guns because the visual and the actual recoil is just so nuts that like you can't even see what you're shooting at. It's basically impossible. So yeah, I love the gunplay, but kind of a con here inside of a pro. I definitely think that they should reduce some of the recoil for some of the weapons, and definitely kind of mess around with that. Now also, I do have to say, obviously, that we're in the beta, so we don't have access to all the attachments, and on some guns we don't have access to any attachments, so it's really hard to say if it's just because we're using guns with no attachments, which it probably is, or if it's because that's just kind of how the game is. So that's kind of like another thing that you also gotta kind of look at there. Next up, the maps. One of the biggest problems with Modern Warfare 2019, as we all know, was the maps. Once they started releasing DLCs and seasons, some of the maps that they released started getting better and better. But overall, the maps in that game were terrible. I've got to say, there's not any maps in this game that I really hate or love, except for that Almas Mexican map. I hate that map. For TDM, I hate that map. I don't know why. Like, if you're playing Prisoner Escape, sure. You know, that map is pretty okay. I actually enjoy playing it. But I will say, overall, I genuinely enjoy the maps. There's no maps where I've been like, okay, this is completely terrible, I need to leave the queue because I don't want to play this map. All the maps felt good. There are some like campy spots that people could camp, but most of the time, like, there wasn't really anybody camping. Everybody was rushing, and overall it was just really good. And I didn't really have any issues with, you know, the layout of the maps. It didn't slow them down, or it just felt very nice and fluent. And like I said, some of the maps, like Almas, was pretty bad. I didn't really like that one. For objective game modes, it was actually pretty good, and it was fun to play on. But when it came to just like core TDM, I don't know, I just didn't really have a good vibe with that map. Next up, we're gonna touch on the kill streaks and the score streak system. I can't believe it's taken so long for us to finally get this feature inside of Call of Duty. But finally, for the first time ever, from now on, you do not have to, you know, play a game where it makes you, like, it doesn't give you an option whether if you have kill streaks or score streaks. You know, in the past, some games had kill streaks, some had score streaks. There was no in between. But here in Modern Warfare 2, you get to choose how you want to play your game. If you're a objective player, then you're gonna want to go with your score streaks, right? Because you're gonna be playing that objective, you're gonna be getting a bunch of points, and that's gonna be better for you. If you're more free-for-all TDM, go with the kill streaks. That's gonna be better for you. And it's literally as simple as clicking a button on your controller to switch in between kill streaks and score streaks before you load into the match. And it's super awesome that you get to choose that. And I can't believe it's taken us that long to get it into the game. Next up, I gotta talk about the HUD. Now, when I say HUD, I mean the in-game HUD when you're actually playing. When I was watching the COD Next event and watching these content creators and streamers play, I wasn't a fan of the HUD. I was like, okay, this looks very COD Mobile, COD Online-y. I don't really like this. Big negative. But again, like we've learned in the past, watching gameplay and playing a game is completely two different things. After playing this game for a lot now, I've got to say, I actually genuinely love the HUD. I think the HUD is fantastic. I don't have any issues with the HUD. Now, there are a few lining up like issues sometimes when like you get a kill or someone calls in a streak. The icon that pops out on the top right doesn't actually preview correctly. So there's some like little errors in how it's actually it like pops up in the screen. But in general, the HUD while you're playing, I actually really enjoy it, and I was really worried about it when I was watching gameplay. But again, once you guys get hands-on, you'll kind of see that it's actually a very good HUD. Next up, we're going to touch on the perks. Now, I've heard some people say that they hate the new perk system, or they don't really like the new perk system. I personally, in my personal opinion, I love the new perk system. I know some people are really mad that like you have to wait, you know, halfway through your game or whatever until you get your ultimate perks, you know, like your ghost perk or your, you know, whatever. But I don't know. I mean, I really do enjoy the new perk system. I think it's great. I think it adds a level of reward achievement into the middle of your games. You know, usually you hop in, you're fully equipped, you have all your perks, you have everything right off the bat, and it's just kind of like you're at your best through the entire game. And I kind of like this. It's kind of like a reward, like, hey, by playing through this game, sticking through it, getting kills, you know, capturing the objective, you're gonna earn your perks, and you know, you kind of level up your character in the game, and you kind of unlock your you know, your next perks. I personally like that kind of reward system. I think it's really cool. I genuinely do enjoy the perk system. I think it's the best perk system we've ever had. I mean, having a traditional perk system, I think would be completely fine. If they change the perk system back to the old version, I won't have any issues. I think it's okay either way. I love both of them, but I actually genuinely do like the perk system that we have currently in Modern Warfare 2. I think if it stayed, I would be completely happy with that. I have no issues. Moving on to the next thing is movement. Again, I saw a lot of people saying that it was clunky, and I've seen some people tweet on Twitter after they've played a little bit of the beta that it was clunky for them as well. I haven't really felt the clunkiness. I feel like I'm very fast. You can move hella fast. You can literally run across the entire map within a few seconds, like with double time perk on. It's crazy fast. You're not slow by any means. General movement, okay, but here's where we're gonna kind of get into some cons. The general player movement is fine, and that's actually my last pro. But kind of moving into the cons here, sliding has to go. Either just remove sliding entirely and just let us dolphin dive. Dolphin diving is amazing. I haven't heard a single con about dolphin diving. I haven't seen a single person talk about it. I love the dolphin diving. It's so fun, diving out of windows and just dolphin diving everywhere. Brings back memories from the old CODs when everyone used to dolphin dive all the time. I love it. It's actually really useful. But sliding is literally completely pointless. And every video I've seen online, all the tweets I've seen, everyone's saying pretty much the exact same thing. It's completely useless. There's literally no need to ever slide. It hinders your movement. It literally, sliding puts you at a major disadvantage over the opponent that you're fixing to fight, or possible opponent that could be around the corner or something. Sliding is just really bad. It locks you into a position where you can't switch weapons, you can't reload, you can't shoot, and it just really locks you into this very long sliding animation that you can't cancel. Now there are some, I'll call them glitches that people's been using, some methods to actually be able to slide cancel, but it's really not even worth it, because slide canceling in general in Modern Warfare 2 is just bad, because when you do slide cancel, you don't actually get momentum. It doesn't like regenerate your tactical sprint, and it actually is worse than just using the normal sprint, the normal sliding in the game. So no, I don't think the whole slide canceling system should come back. I haven't really seen anyone that's saying it should majorly come back. It definitely should not be in the game, by no means. It should go back to what it used to be back in the golden days, where there was no slide canceling. Definitely, and you don't really need it. The way that you move in this game, you don't need it at all. The movement is fine. But yeah, for sure, sliding has to either be removed or change it somehow where we can cancel our slide animation. Don't make it to where we get our tactical sprint back, possibly, but do something. You know, sliding right now is terrible. Moving on to the minimap, of course, we're not going to have the casual minimap that we used to have. It's the same minimap we had in Modern Warfare 2019, which essentially means it's useless. The only time there's going to be a ping on your map is when you have a UAV up, of course, unless they have Ghost on. So again, kind of useless, because most people's going to be running Ghost. And now when enemies shoot their unsuppressed weapon, they do not show up on the radar. Again, this is the same minimap system we've had for a little while now, and it's super annoying. It would be nice to have the old minimap system back, and honestly, if we don't get it back, I personally would be okay with that. I think it's one of those things where, like, we've had it for so long now that I've just kind of gotten used to it. It would be nice to have the old minimap back, for sure, but if we don't get it, I'll be okay with that personally. My biggest thing is, and I don't know if it's just a bug that's happening here in the beta, or if it's some kind of like just natural delay that's actually in the game, but my biggest pet peeve is when the delay of the minimap. It's very delayed. The sweeping is very inconsistent. It's not reliable. And a lot of times when someone kills my teammate, or my teammate kills someone, their red dot or my friendly blue arrow will stay on the map for seconds after they're dead and long gone, done respawned. Their red dot will still be on the map, and it's really confusing because it makes me think that that person's still alive. Like, oh, maybe that person killed my teammate, or oh, my teammate just died over here, or hey, my teammate just got that kill, so there's not an enemy over there. But in reality, that's not the case. That enemy's still alive, or my teammate's dead, or whatever, and I don't actually know it because of the delay on the minimap. Again, I don't know if that's actually in Modern Warfare 2, if that's supposed to be a feature or if it's just kind of like a bug that's happening here in the beta. Next up, the skill-based matchmaking. Of course, we know it's in the game. They said that it's not going to go anywhere, and obviously everyone wants this removed. Skill-based matchmaking, I don't know why it's in the game. Everyone knows that it's terrible. It doesn't help good players. It doesn't help bad players. It should just be removed entirely. Everyone knows this, but I'm not really going to go into it because, I mean, everyone's been saying this for so many years now. Skill-based matchmaking has kind of always been in COD in some shape or form, but it didn't used to be as bad as it is now. I definitely will say you can feel that it is in Modern Warfare 2. Even here in the beta, there is skill-based matchmaking. You can just tell by playing the game. It's not super strong, I will say. Not as bad as what we've had in recent years as of right now in the beta. But it's definitely there, and you can definitely feel it. Next up, another big one that I hear a lot of people talking about is the TTK. If you guys understand, it's for time to kill. It is fast. It is, I believe, the fastest TTK we've ever had. It is crazy fast, and I see so many people talk about how garbage it is and this needs to be an immediate change. I beg to disagree. I actually like the TTK that we have now, and I'm not saying it should stay the exact same. I definitely agree that it is too fast. You literally have 0 time to react. If you get shot, you're like dead. The headshot multiplier, literally like 1 bullet to the head, you're dead. You know, like this is Rainbow Six Siege or something. Like this is Call of Duty. That shouldn't be happening. So literally, like, dude, 2-3 shots, it feels like you're dying. It's just ridiculously fast, and I think the best way to do this, and they have to be careful about this, because for me especially, this is what ruined Modern Warfare 2019, but not a whole lot, but mainly Warzone. This is what ruined Warzone for me, was they lowered the time to kill, and that's why I haven't played Warzone in months, because it's just so much slower than what it used to be, and I hate it. I think that they should at least make it to where, you know, it takes 1 to 3 bullets maximum more to kill than what it is right now. I think that would be perfect. I think, yes, it is very fast in some situations, but also feel like it's not in some situations. So I think kind of finding that middle ground where you just raise it by a few shots, I think will be perfect. But that's probably a very controversial opinion. But that's my opinion. I don't think they should lower it crazy low, give everyone like 400 HP, you know, like they did in Modern Warfare and or Warzone. I think that's just dumb. I don't think it should be that slow. And they said this whole thing before. Oh, they want to raise the health, make the TTK slower, so people actually engage in gunfights, and gunfights are longer, and they're not just over in an instant. I think that's personally dumb. Just make it fast. Maybe a few more shots you have to hit on target, but don't go crazy with it. Next up, we got to talk about the spawns. The spawns were pretty horrendous. There was really no system in place at all. It really felt like, I mean, especially if you're playing like domination or something, literally you could spawn at the enemy spawn. Like, I mean, you could have you know, 2 flags captured, they could have their home base flag captured, and you would spawn on their flag. Like, there's no system in place. You can spawn wherever, whenever you want. It doesn't matter. There was a lot of issues where it was spawning me like in the middle of gunfights, and I was just instantly dying off the rip. I mean, just so many different bad situations that the game was putting me in right off the bat because of the spawning system. So 100% that has to be fixed before the full game release, because the spawning is terrible. Next up, we're going to talk about footsteps. They are very inconsistent. I mean, on the museum map, footsteps, you could hear them just fine, no problems. Other maps, it feels like you can't hear them at all. Very inconsistent. So, like I said, sometimes you hear them very loudly, sometimes you don't hear them at all. So definitely footstep sounds have to be changed or altered in some way, shape, or form, because right now, if they were to release the game like it is now, it would be, oh my goodness, it would be terrible, 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 terrible. So 100% footsteps have got to change. And finally, on my cons list, we kind of going in with the movement here, we have the sprint to fire speed. right now the movement speed with weapons and the sprint to fire time, even on like shotguns and SMGs and pistols, just feels so bad. It feels like all the guns in the game, like they just set the sprint to fire to like the same thing. Like they're all very bad. Even if you put on every single attachment you can to increase that sprint to fire speed, it doesn't really feel like it changes at all. The sprint to fire is just really bad. The movement speed is really bad. And this is 100% has to be changed. If I'm using an SMG, it should aim in 10 times faster than an LMG that I'm using. But right now, they're honestly about the same. So 100% the sprint to fire needs to change. And when I put on attachments to increase that sprint to fire, there should be a monumentous change, you know what I mean? Like it shouldn't just be like, okay, you can aim in half a second faster. Like, you know, give me some wiggle room here. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is all my pros and cons with the Modern Warfare 2 beta so far. Like I said in the beginning, let me know your guys' opinions on some of the stuff that I stated here today. Let me know your personal opinions about things in general. How are you enjoying the game so far? I've got to say, like I said, at the core, I love the game. There's a few things that they could tweak regarding I don't even know if I touched on this. Hold up, one more con. I may have already touched about this, but the menu, I don't know if I touched on this, like I said, but the menu is so bad. Like the main menu is terrible. Like it literally takes you 20 minutes to figure out what's going on. There's like the home menu, and then you got your whole click options to access your progression tab, your home, your social, and then inside the social tab there's like 50 different things, and it's just so confusing. And then it's like, okay, you launch Modern Warfare 2 and you're like, okay, I'm in the game, right? No, you're just like in the hub, and then you got to go to the actual game, and from there there's a whole nother hub menu where you choose things, and it's just like weirdly confusing. I don't understand why it's so confusing. Like, this is just stupid. I mean, Call of Duty's been around for so many years, decades, and there's still a problem of just HUD confusion. Like, come on, like, why are we having this issue? They've been making Call of Duties for decades. Why are we still having the simplest little problems? I don't understand. Like, I genuinely don't understand how after so many years they can still be making this stupid little mistakes. Like, have they learned nothing over these last decades? Have they learned absolutely nothing? Like, I don't understand. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is all my pros and cons. Like I said, let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. Drop a like, subscribe. It only takes you guys a second. It helps me out a lot, so I'd greatly appreciate it. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!